Hey everyone, Ryan here with the week of June 3rd programming. You see I've got a new slide attached to this with some weekly announcements so you guys know what's coming up in the future there. You'll learn more about these during class as well and some announcements coming out in our private group. But be aware, coming up in a couple weeks in Stanton, we're going to do a Chamber of Commerce business after hours. If you're not familiar with that, Chamber of Commerce members, someone will host I think once a month, a chance for people to network, get some drinks and snacks. Usually it's held at a bank. So we get to do a little twist on that. We'll do some sweat working that day. So it won't be regular classes that evening, but you can jump into class at 6 o'clock with whoever else shows up to that networking event. There'll be drinks and snacks provided starting at 5:30. And then we'll do an interval workout at 6 o'clock that day. So come check it out. Even if you're not much of a networker, you can still have some fun there, but it's also an opportunity for those of you that want to kind of talk with other business people in the area. Back to Basics Boot Camp is coming back to Fishersville in a couple weeks. We've got a few spots left, so if you got people interested in it, have them sign up for one of our information sessions. You can ask us how to do that, or there's plenty of stuff out there on Facebook where people can actually sign up for their own information session to learn how to get signed up for boot camp. And then very excited about this. We've been doing our Sweat Angels with Project Grows. We've donated over $1,000 to them this year with our Sweat Angel referral program. We've got a volunteer day set up on Thursday, the 27th. So between the hours of 2 and 7, people can come and go to help and volunteer on the farm there. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll have a dinner who's ever around and interested in that. If you're going to come to the dinner, we're going to ask that you RSVP so we can get a rough head count for who will be there. But we'll send out information on how to RSVP with that later. All right, now to the programming. So this week in CrossFit, you're going to see lots of opportunities for strength, more than we've been seeing in the past, and the kind of short, very intense workouts. So you're going to be bringing it pretty hard this week, making sure you're focusing on getting that weightlifting in and getting the intensity in your workouts in. In CDC, we're starting our commitment month. So the workouts are pretty balanced, but you're probably going to lean a little bit heavier on the legs at the beginning of the week and more on the arms at the upper body at the end of the week. So Monday in CrossFit, we're doing some Olympic lifting complexes there with power cleans. We'll review that in class, how to at least do hang power cleans. For those of you that know how to pull from the floor, you may have that opportunity. Depending on the class, we may actually teach that as well, but expect that those power cleans pulling from the floor to be covered in our skills sessions that day. The workout, quick lactic tolerance workout, 5-minute AMRAP, burpees over the bar or burpees in some variation, and power cleans with an ascending rep scheme. This one is going to feel nasty. Bring it all for 5 minutes. And then we've got a cool down there to recover from that 5 minutes of work there. Like I said, we'll cover the skills acceleration, the power clean during that. So commitment month starts with a commitment workout on Monday. Pretty balanced day with the press, the press, the clean, and core, and then some rowing for the cardio there, 4 static efforts. So you get to focus on those movements and keep the intensity high at that movement. Pretty balanced day that day. On Tuesday in CrossFit, another strength portion. We'll work on our pull-ups there. Lots of options for people from from ring rows to panded pull-ups to weighted pull-ups. And then this is probably the longest workout of the week. About 15 minutes of cardio with runs. I like the twist here on some high box jump overs if you're interested in doing that. And trying to keep the wall balls moving for the most part. Quick breaks, no more than probably 2 sets on that each round to keep moving through this pretty demanding cardio workout. You can kind of think of it as a mini Kelly, if you've ever done Kelly, which is I think 5 rounds for time of 400-meter runs and 30 box jumps and 30 wall balls. It's kind of be a faster version of that. Extra credit, because at this point, we want to bring the intensity down after that workout. We're going to do some waiter's walk, work on the shoulder stability there. And we had fun doing this a couple weeks ago. Since there's nothing too technical in the workout this week, we're going to stick with box jumps and see if maybe we can get people comfortable with box jumps or jumping higher on them. Vitality that day, Tuesday. This one is where we start to see the legs. Bring the legs that day. Cossack lunge and even the explosive power shrug and the running man. Yep, be ready to use those legs on that vitality. But they can do that. Vitality, if you pace this right, you can make it through this, and your legs can do the work that day. Legs respond very well to volume work. Wednesday, we've got an EMOM for strict press. Just speaking of volume, there's a lot of volume here. So you start conservatively on this. Every minute, you're going to be doing some reps. Those strict presses can give out. So start conservatively and make conservative jumps to make it through this strength portion. And then we've got a kind of harder version of the Annie workout where it's sit-ups and double unders. This one is double unders in about the same quantity, but you're getting bigger chunks at a time. So 21, if you're doing 3 times that, would be 63 double unders at a time, 45 double unders for the next round, and 27 at the end. And then big chunks of toes to bar or knees to elbows. So this day we will cover in class a little bit of kipping and toes to bar skill work or knees to elbows or hanging knee raise skill work so that you can find an option that allows you to do those big sets in a consistent but challenging manner. So you got to figure out something that allows you to do 10 or 12 reps at a time before you rest in order to approach this workout properly. So even though you may not have a dozen toes to bar on you at a time, we can get you doing something challenging that still gives you a dozen reps at a time to make it through this workout and keep you moving. Extra credit there, we'll work on some squatting since we're not doing it in the workout, and some stretching there to cool down. And then since we're covering kipping and stuff in class, we'll do double unders as a skill acceleration that day. Hump day hit class. This looks like our functional bodybuilding. We've been doing this for a few weeks in our CrossFit classes, and we did it one time over in Stanton, and it worked really well. So we're going to do it again in Stanton. It's 90 seconds at kind of 4 different stations, and you go around the room 4 times. But each station looks a little bit different as far as the amount of time and work that you're doing and what you're feeling. When we think of functional bodybuilding, we're thinking about building good muscle mass, growing our muscles, simulating that growth, but doing it in a way that still allows us to work on work capacity and good range of motion. So this starts out with 10 dumbbell strict press, and then working on plank up downs up to the 60-second mark. So between the strict press and the plank up downs, you should be able to get 60 seconds of work in, then have 30 seconds of rest before you get to the bike sprint. 45 seconds on the bike gives you 45 seconds of rest before you start the next movement, which would be 30 Turkish get-ups on each side, which is going to take you about 60 seconds. Have a little bit of rest before you get to those box jumps. Box jumps portion here, you're going to do 60 seconds of it, and what I want you to think about is how would you accumulate the most number of inches in your box jumps or step-ups, if that's what you're doing, in that 60 seconds. So when I think of functional bodybuilding and how it will relate to a 60 seconds of box jumps, I'm thinking, well, it's not going to be strictly conditioning, so a low box jump and getting a lot in, and it's not going to be strictly your best, highest box jumps. It's going to be somewhere in between there, and this is one way to approach this. So as a guy, if I'm thinking I normally jump at a 24-inch box, so you see that 16 times 24, that would tell me if I could get 16 reps in, which is doable, but it's getting after it, of 24-inch box jumps, I do about 384 inches of jumping then at that point. Well, maybe I can go higher, and as long as I can get 13 reps in, I'm actually going to get more inches in. And if I go even higher but can still get 11 inches or 11 jumps in, I can get even more inches in as far as work done. So that's how you're going to approach that, is figuring out it's not going to be a low height and lots of cardio, and it's not going to be the highest jumps you can do, but somewhere in between there to accumulate the most work in 60 seconds. Hope that makes sense. Thursday, more strength that day. The blue and purple will be working up to a 12-rep back squat. And I bet there are some people that normally work at the orange that will give that 12-rep back squat a try as well. So definitely welcome to give that a shot. Otherwise, you'll stay on the 3x10, which is still quite a lot of work there. So be conservative on those weights on those back squats. 10-minute AMRAP that day. You're going to be moving the whole time here. Some type of version of a kettlebell swing. The weight stays the same through orange, blue, and purple, so it's kind of staying at a decent heavy weight there, but you'll change the swing up depending on your skill level there. Going into goblet squats and then some type of push-up variation. I want you to notice at the orange, the 10 pike push-ups. That's quite a bit for each round. And we want to keep this at about 2 minutes a round, so you get 4 to 6 rounds in. So those pike push-ups, a lot of times people will get on a box for them, or we'll encourage people to get in a position where the feet are really close to the hands and their hips are really high in the air in this pike position. That may not be sustainable that day with 10 full push-ups. So you may want to be more in our classic down dog position that we do in the workout when you do those pike push-ups. You'll still get lots of good volume work in that way with the push-ups. You just want to make sure you're hitting that tripod position and not putting your head directly between your hands. Extra credit, this looks fun, 50 ring mountain climbers and accumulating 3 minutes of an arch body hold. And then for the skills acceleration, we'll be getting upside down, and that can be lots of different variations for anybody. So you don't have to have a handstand to be able to do this inversions work. Come and check it out and have some fun. So Thursday, is that where I'm at? Yeah, Thursday for CVC. So still another balanced day for the most part, but we're starting to get more towards the upper body where we did some lower body stuff earlier in the week. We're now getting into some push-ups with this confidence interval here. In this AMRAP, a kind of a 3-minute AMRAP of push-ups and sit-ups there. But you still got plenty of lower body with the suitcase deadlifts and the step-ups too. Just not quite as much weight as we were doing earlier in the week. Friday, we've got a fight gone bad style workout. This is similar to our API test and level method. 1 minute at each movement with no rest in between and a minute rest between each round for 3 rounds. Looking at the purple, you've got ring push-ups, and really looking at any of the movements or any of the levels there, a minute of push-ups 3 times through, especially with all the other work you got to do, is going to be very challenging. You're going to have to approach that with a good strategy. I'm looking at it going, I would do like 3 to 5 reps, rest, 3 to 5 reps, rest, 3 to 5 reps, rest in order to make it through this workout and maximize my time at each station. Double unders and single unders, you may not be able to do that for the full minute, so you're going to take strategic breaks in order to get the most work done there, and also think you're not going to work for the entire minute. There'll be some time leading up to that movement where you've come from the last movement and burning up some seconds, and you'll want to end a little bit early so that you can start the next movement and not have to catch your breath too much beforehand. But be strategic and make sure you're understanding where you can pick up the most work when you're doing your breaks and ending a movement early. We'll have to review some hang power cleans that day as well. Extra credit, this will be very tough after that workout. If you're doing hang power cleans and you're doing too much arm, those curls are going to be hard to do as your cash out. The push-ups and doing the plank mark afterwards and tricep extensions are really going to burn out that upper body. And then even doing the sit-ups combined with the hollow rocks and plank march as the cash out, still going to kind of tax that core there. Skills acceleration will be hang power clean. You may actually be able to go heavier in the skills acceleration than the workout that day. Vitality work, again, bring the upper body at this point because we got our burpee complex there, the bottom half and the top half of the burpee, and we've got that single rack hold and the single arm kettlebell, single deadlift high pull. So like I said, we're getting more to the upper body, body parts in the second half of this week in CVC. Testing this week, 9 o'clock class in Fishersville. We'll be working on our rings test and our running test, and we've got plenty of extra credit too to keep you busy for that class. Lifting, this will be interesting. Our first attempt at a Kang squat. It's kind of a combination of a good morning and a squat. So we'll start conservatively with that since it's the first time we're doing that. We will then not be conservative on our dumbbell step-ups. We're going to blow up the legs with that and superset it with some 4 broad jumps. So heavy weights, heavy step-ups, and then you kind of take this weighted element and try to quickly transition into an explosive jump afterwards and see how that works out. A lot of sports teams will train that way to make sure they're keeping speed and explosiveness through their movements because too much weight can slow you down at times. So you got to make sure you stay explosive in sports. We got some weighted push-ups, superset of weighted sit-ups, and then we'll kind of have a burnout with tricep kickbacks beforehand or at the end of that. Ending the week with commitment, we've got some more upper body again with plank up down, shoulder to shoulder thrusters and ring rows, but also with the jumping lunge and the shoulder to shoulder thrusters, your legs are going to be feeling it that day. All right. let me know. Or I can't wait to see you guys in class this week. Talk to you later. Thanks.